November 16, 2015 meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Baroff? Here. Chairman Marinetti?
Here.
Mr. Morelli?
Here.
Mr. Rocco?
Here.
Mrs. Stick?
Here.
Mr. Terp?
Here.
Mr. Yolovich?
Here.
Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
There is not.
Is there anyone present who's not signed up to speak who would like to address the committee at this time? Seeing no one, next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the October 21st, 2015 minutes of the Environment and Public Works Committee before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. I'd like to introduce Robert Franklin, Chief Finance Officer of the Finance Department, who's here to present the 2016 proposed Monroe County operating budget as it pertains to the Environment and Public Works Committee. We'll have a question and answer period following the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Franklin.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to present our 2016 proposed budget as it pertains to the Environment and Public Works Committee. To get started, I'd like to give a broad overview of the county budget just to put this committee in context. Our 2016 proposed budget is coming in at just about $1.174 billion. That's about a $7.9 million decrease from the 2015 adopted budget. The largest part of our budget, the operating budget for 2016, is proposed at about $999.2 million, and that represents about a $5 million decrease from the 2015 adopted budget. Overall, our 2016 proposed budget maintains the county's tax rate at $8.99 per $1,000 of full value. The budget reduces headcount by 3.75 FTEs. It reduces mandated spending by about $5 million and complies with the Taxpayer Protection Act of 2007. As I explained in previous committee meetings, since the issue comes up from time to time, it's important for me to note that the 2016 proposed budget does not change in any manner the definition of what is a mandated service. The areas most important to the Environment and Public Works Committee is on the slide in front of on the screen. In previous committees, I tend to report the gross appropriations. Because of all the chargebacks within this department, I think it's more user-friendly or more business appropriate to present you the departmental budgets net of the chargebacks. Our Department of Aviation, pretty similar to last year's amended budget. In fact, I think throughout the area, solid waste, engineering, Pure Water's fleet, the budgets are pretty comparable to the 2015 amended. Specific to our airport, our Department of Aviation, slight decrease in overall gross appropriations for the airport. Not a lot of change in service chargebacks, therefore the net appropriations are actually down a little bit, just more than $19.7 million. Within the airport, they are broken out into 6 different divisions. Division-specific budgets are on the screen for you. You will find them in the various pages throughout the budget book with a comparison 2015 amended. Just a couple highlights to give you a flavor of what's going on in the airport for 2016. Per the Capital Improvement Program, they will be procuring a new airport rescue firefighting vehicle. ARF is the acronym you may hear in committee meetings, and a new glycol recovery vehicle. They don't put salt on the tarmac or the runways. They use glycol for ice removal. Also going on in 2016, the airport department expects to complete their upgrades of the parking access and revenue control system. That was a system initiated this year, should come to completion in 2016. And the Department of Aviation in conjunction with the County Airport Authority, are going to continue strategies to attract new air service to our community. Very topical, Allegiant Airlines recently started providing nonstop round-trip service to several markets in Florida. Environmental services, specifically solid waste. Again, just in comparison to the 2015 amended, appropriations are down a little bit, and the net appropriations after chargebacks also down not quite $300,000. Solid waste, for those of you who may be new to the committee, is an enterprise fund of the county, meaning it's a self-balancing set of accounts. Therefore, the fund's revenues will increase or decrease by the same amount as the net appropriations. Now, we've had several discussions in prior budgets and in several meetings earlier this year about the financial condition of the Solid Waste Enterprise Fund. I do want to highlight for you 4 referrals that came before this county, this legislative body throughout 2015 that provide some economic benefit to solid waste, either a revenue enhancement or an expense decrease. Referral 15-231, you may recall this was done over the summer. It transferred an asset, the Mill Seat Pump Station and Force Main, from the Solid Waste Fund to Pure Waters. This was a pump station built quite a number of years ago to capture leachate from Mill Seat. Honestly, that pump station can service more than just Mill Seat, and it really is more appropriate that we transfer that to the Pure Waters. I'm quite honest, I'm not sure why the Solid Waste Division actually constructed that asset. It is a Pure Waters pump station. It perhaps always should have been in the Solid Waste Fund. Be that as it may, that transfer in of itself alleviated the remaining debt service on that pump station. For 2016, the debt service is approximately $270,000. So that's $270,000 the Solid Waste Fund will not have to carry. Referral 266 amended the Mill Seat Landfill operating lease with Waste Management of New York. That referral actually increased the royalty that Monroe County receives on the tonnage dumped at Mill Seat. Using historical averages as a base for our calculation, the increase in our royalty revenue is approximately $286,000. The potential, if we are able to maximize tonnage at Mill Seat, we have a potential to generate royalty of $486,000. Referral number 283, also passed just a couple months ago, authorized the operating and maintenance agreement for Gas Plant 2 once that facility is put into operation. Design and construction for Gas Plant 2 is already underway. Construction probably will be complete in 2016. Honestly, the facility will probably be up and running and actually producing electricity in 2017. Be that as it may, the referral this body adopted has an economic benefit to solid waste, a net benefit of about $296,000. Revenues earned from the production of electricity will first be used to pay off debt service. Second, they will be used to pay the operating and maintenance agreement for Gas Plants 2, and then the net revenues will be split 60-40 between us and the operator, with Monroe County retaining 60%, equates to about $296,000. Referral number 284 amended our intermunicipal agreement with the City of Rochester for their waste disposal and recycling. If you're a municipality in Monroe County and want to dump garbage at Mill Seat, you come through solid waste first. You don't contract directly. That renegotiated IMA with the city, I think it was extended out to 2028, I think an additional 10 years, has an economic benefit of about $274,000 for the Solid Waste Fund. Those 4 referrals amount to just over $1 million economic benefit for the Solid Waste Fund, with the potential for a higher amount if we can maximize the tonnage and should the energy market for Gas Plant 2 actually improve, where the rates were paid improves over historical averages. I would also note What I don't have on this slide is a $1 million one-time payment by Waste Management to Monroe County once the expansion permits for Millseed are in hand. We do expect that in 2016. I did not budget for it this year. Who knows what might happen. So there actually is a higher economic benefit to solid waste than I put on this slide. But these are good assumptions right here. Our Engineering and Facilities Management Division of Environmental Services, same story. Again, it's all relative, folks. 2016 budget is lower, not that much lower than 2015 amended, as our service chargebacks, requiring a slight increase in net appropriations. To give you a flavor of what might be going on, construction activities are currently going on at the downtown MCC campus. Construction contracts will start, I believe, this spring. Actually, they have already started, haven't they? Well, a lot of work is already being done at downtown campus. Facilities, they're going to begin a number of improvements to Frontier Field. These are referrals that came before this committee earlier in the year to amend our CIP and capital budget. Those improvements extend and enhance the life of that facility. And hopefully near and dear to many of us, renovations right here in County Office Building. Within our Pure Waters Division, this is overall. You all know that there are 4 districts plus an administrative services area. Total appropriations for Pure Waters only up a little bit, several $100,000. Slight change in service chargebacks, bringing the net appropriations almost in line with where they were in the 2015 amended. Just a few highlights. Design work at the Northwest Quadrant Treatment Plant are beginning. This is to improve their aeration. This converts mechanical aeration into dissolved gas. It's a bubbler system, much quieter, much more energy efficient. We're going to begin design of John Street, Irondequoit Bay, and the Timpat Pump Station Improvement Project. And they will also begin construction on Frank E. Van Laer Maintenance Center. That's the hub of the Pure Waters operations there from the Maintenance Center at Van Laer. Mr. Chairman, with that concludes the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. I will now open the floor to any committee members who have questions regarding the Environment and Public Works portion of the budget. Yes, Legislator Stick.
I have questions regarding the airport to the administration. In 2014, there are 4 major objectives I would like to get some to understand the discrepancy between the goals and accomplishments. They were not on the list of 2015 major accomplishments. Through the chair, the first one is the development and implementation of a safety management system.
Through the chair, this is Mary Ann Feddison from the airport, finance administrator. On that one, we'll have to get back to you on that one. I don't have the answers right now on that.
Okay, thank you. Number 2, through the chair, the initiation of upgrades to the airport parking access revenue control system. I know that Mr. Franklin mentioned that it's going to be complete in 2016. Is that correct?
Through the chair, yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. Through the chair, number 3, explore and expand alternative energy projects and green initiatives.
Through the chair, we have done some initiatives this year at the airport, and it's ongoing. We've replaced LED lighting in the tunnels, in the front of the airport, and in some of the parking areas, and we're ongoing pursuing other opportunities also.
Great. And through the chair, number 4, encouraging professional development.
Through the chair, that's one that we're always ongoing. We're continuing taking classes through the Monroe County's Leadership Academy program, in addition to attending seminars throughout anywhere anywhere in the country that are aviation-related seminars. There's been various conferences that we've gone to.
Okay, thank you. Through the chair, on page 7, I'm very excited by the thought that the airport is going to be using initiatives to get additional nonstop service to our airport. I think that's great. Can you please tell me, can you expand on that, on what you're going to be doing to get to currently unserved markets? What is the airline initiative program?
Through the chair, the airport has put together an incentive package that's available to any airline out there that wants to take advantage of it. It needs to be to an unserved market within the airport currently does not serve. And what we are offering is waiving of landing fees and terminal rental charges. In return, we will still get PFC, passenger facility charges of $4.50 a passenger. We also get parking revenues and concession revenues that we will collect from those additional passengers. And that's how we were able to attract Allegiant to our area. And they currently have 2 new destinations served.
Through the chair, are we using Comida funds?
Through the chair, we are using airport dollars that exists in a fund that the airlines have contributed to through the years. It's excess money, it's not county dollars.
Through the chair, can I ask what the 2 unserved markets are?
Yes, through the chair, the unserved markets are Orlando, Sanford, and Fort Lauderdale. They're direct flights.
Okay. Through the chair, on page 77, regarding 2015 accomplishments, did we learn anything actionable from the first annual Community Air Service Development Summit? And is there going to be a second one?
Through the chair, I'll have to get back to you on that one in writing of what the results were.
Okay, thank you. Through the chair, on page 78, you mentioned the glycol recovery vehicle. Do we have one currently, or is this going to be a new piece of equipment?
Through the chair, I will have to get back to you on that one. I know it's in the design stage right now, but I'll get back on that one.
Okay. Through the chair, on page 78, how was the $500,000 reduction in debt service achieved?
Through the chair, I'm sorry, I missed that question.
Okay. Through the chair, how was the $500,000 reduction in debt service achieved?
Through the chair, that reduction is just the timing and phase out of debt that the airport has that is reaching maturity and no longer exists.
Okay. Through the chair, on page 81, why are we seeing an increase in military arrivals and departures?
Through the chair, that is the Army National Guard that is stationed at the airport, and they just have been experiencing more takeoffs and landings, and it's just something that they are currently performing more operations on, and that's based on our 2015 actuals, what we're seeing.
Okay. On page 605, account 504290, maintenance equipment, can you tell me how the reduction went from 19,000 to 5,000? How
Through the
that
chair,
was
please.
achieved? Through the chair, apologize.
Through the chair, can you repeat that account number, please?
Of course, through the chair, account number 504290, maintenance equipment. There's been a reduction from 19,000 to 5,000.
Through the chair, 2014 was higher due to sprinkler inspection and parts that aren't scheduled for in 2016.
Okay. Through the chair, on page 607, account number 504205, commercial services and airport field operations is actually going up over 100% from $250,000 to $524 in 2016. Can you tell me why there's a big increase?
Through the chair, I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Okay, my final question through the chair on page 609. Also in airport custodial operations, can you tell me why commercial services is going up $197,000 from 2014 to 2016?
Through the chair, that budget reflects our snow removal and salting contracts. We budget not knowing how much the actual is going to be from year to year, so that reflects an average that we would expect based on prior years.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Yes, I'll just go out.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, I've got just a couple questions. Once regarding the solid waste, and on page 287, it talks about tipping fee revenue, and from 2016, it's going down $100,000 from 2015. I'm wondering why that is with the new contracts that we've been improving, that have been approved, and why the reduction in tipping fees.
Mr. Chairman, overall, revenue from tipping fees will either increase or decrease as the related expense were to increase or decrease. As I mentioned, if you're a municipality who wants to dump at Mill Seat, you come through solid waste. So as a municipality increases their disposal needs, that revenue will also increase and vice versa.
Thank you. Through the chair, I understand that we can't know for sure what will be 1 month or 1 year from now. But my question is, with the new contracts that were designed to enhance revenues to the county, I'm curious why we're predicting a decrease in tipping fees for next year.
Mr. Chairman, there is a change in the City of Rochester's wholesale house demolition, which would impact that number and result in reduction. However, to the legislator's point, Mr. Chairman, that referral to amend our operating lease agreement was just acted upon within the past month. So that actually is not reflected in the 2016 budget.
Thank you. But through the chair of the administration, as we move forward, I'm sure we would appropriately amend as necessary.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I only actually have a couple other questions on an unrelated note for an engineering administration on page 618. I was confused by number 504320, professional services, and I was confused because the 2014 actual reads as being a negative $25,000, and I thought that was rather odd. So I went back to the prior year, and it was actually the 2014 amended as reported in the 2015 budget proposal was $150,000, not negative $25,000. So my question is twofold. One, why the change? And two, why the dramatic increase of $275,000?
Mr. Chairman, that particular line relates to our contract for code enforcement term services. Regarding the 2014 negative $25,000, that really relates to a 2014 goods receipt that was reversed out and one from 2013. Frankly, not a good number to have negative, but frankly, Mr. Chairman, the dollar amount was small. We didn't bother correcting it.
Thank you. So through the chair to Administration, it was just an error in the past then?
A timing error, Mr.
Timing
Chairman.
error. Okay, thank you. And then finally, on page 612, I just wanted to clarify one question, and that was with commercial services increasing from 51,000 to 236,000. And just curious as to why those commercial services increased.
Through the chair.
Through the chair. My apologies.
Mr. Chairman, through you, that increase is primarily the result of our waste management recycling center upgrades. They went from the dual stream to single stream process and the single stream educational campaign that was conducted, is conducted.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, see. Yes, Legislator Morelli?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration, I'd like to talk about facilities management and building operations. Specifically, I'd like to review the 2015 major objectives versus the 2015 major accomplishments. I see that our major accomplishments do not include complete construction of all facilities at the Children's Detention Center, complete construction of the Civic Center complex improvement, begin design of improvements to Frontier Field, continue implementation of a comprehensive electrical safety program, continue to expand and enhance the countywide energy management program. All of those items were mentioned again in the 2015 major objectives. So perhaps we can have an understanding as to either A, where those projects stand, or B, why it is that they haven't been completed. Through you, Mr. Chairman.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we'd be happy to go through those one by one. I just don't recall the list that you mentioned.
Certainly. The first one was complete the construction of all facilities at the Children's Detention Center.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the first phase of that work is completed. We are in design phase now for a future capital project that's underway now.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, when do you expect that will be complete?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we expect the master plan will be completed in 2016. There is some state legislation, obviously, that'll have to be taken into consideration as we plan out the actual scope of the project. We'll take that into consideration throughout the year.
Thank you. The next item, through you, Mr. Chairman, was complete construction of the Civic Center complex improvements.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I believe that is listed as a 2015 accomplishment. We completed the Civic Center energy performance contract this year.
Okay. Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, begin design of improvements to Frontier Field.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we have begun that process this year.
And through you, Mr. Chairman, when do we expect that those improvements will be complete?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we expect to complete an engineering study this year in 2015. We'll prioritize and phase work in 2016. We may bid work out throughout the year, and I imagine that work will continue into 2017.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, continue implementation of the comprehensive electrical safety program.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that's a countywide initiative. We've completed a number of upgrades at different departments, airport, hospital, and Pure Waters. We're focusing on facilities right now that work will continue throughout 2016.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, is there a point at which that ends, or is that in an ongoing basis?
Through Mr. Chairman, we expect that'll be done by the end of 2016.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, continue to expand and enhance the countywide energy management program.
Through Mr. Chairman, we're expanding that opportunity really out to a variety of county facilities. That work will be ongoing in 2016. We expect that work should be completed in 2016, maybe early 2017.
Thank you. The general fund contribution to City Place in 2016 will be a little over 1.5 million. Is there a solution? Is there no solution to this drain on the general fund through you, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask if that question could be clarified just a little bit for my own understanding.
Sure. Through you, Mr. Chairman, the general fund is contributing to City Place $1.5 million. Is there a way that we could, is there a solution essentially to ensure that we're no longer putting all of that, putting that 1.5 million from the general fund to City Place?
Mr. Chairman, I guess we would not categorize that as a problem to be solved. That reflects quite an amount of shared space in City Place. I do recall last year talking about the rather large atrium that is utilized by quite a number of departments. Oftentimes, there are direct charges from a billing account to user departments for an allocated percentage. Historically, the Finance Department has accounted for that large of a shared space at City Place, and it's unallocated, and has chosen not to charge out that to user departments.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, page 630, $12 million is being decreased in commercial services. Can you explain the $12 million increase?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that was for the Civic Center Energy Performance Contract. And since that project's complete, it's no longer represented.
Thank you.
It's an appropriation.
And through you, Mr. Chairman, page 632, account 972404. Why is building operations being billed $1.5 million, almost $1.6 million by probation?
Excellent question, Mr. Chairman. We started getting into this in the public safety presentation. I mentioned that public safety now manages and accounts for our contract with U.S. Security Associates, and they will charge out user departments based on where those security guards are stationed. And that is an accurate statement, but the mechanism by which it happens is public safety charges a building account currently accounted for in DES, and we have an algorithm that allocates the shared expense from that building account to the user department. So it really is a two-step process, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Franklin, your enthusiasm at 8 o'clock at night on allocation of money is incredible. Moving on to Pure Waters, on pages 619 and 620, the Gates-Chili-Ogden District. Where's the chargeback from the city district for using the Van Lair treatment plant.
Mr. Chairman, I just will further clarify that as both charges, payments to not only the Rochester District, but also Northwest Quadrant, and you'll find that in the line for agency contracts, 504-800.
I'm sorry, you said 504.
800, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few questions in regards to fleet services. Page 633, account 505050. Gasoline. This was $775,000 in 2014, $880,000 in 2015, and then $855,000 in 2016. With the substantial drop in gasoline, which is expected to last at least the 6 months into 2016, why isn't the budget for gasoline dropping more substantially?
Through the chair, please.
I believe I asked through the chair. Through the chair.
'Mr. Chairman, there are 3 lines for fuel, as you can see, diesel fuel. The other line identified as just fuel, and that's actually liquid propane that we use, and then regular gasoline. The aggregate of those 3 line items, Mr. Chairman, both 2015 and 2016 are roughly the same. So we are budgeting somewhat conservatively, obviously given potential market volatility. But we believe these, are more accurate in terms of their allocation. But again, in aggregate, they're comparable to 2015.
Thank you. And through the chairman, page 306, the number of pieces of medium-duty equipment serviced is increasing by 65,000 or 16.1% in 2016. Why is that, and is there any concern or attempts to mitigate the increased workload being placed on the mechanics?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the estimated number of vehicles in 16 doesn't reflect the results from our annual auction, whereas the actuals in 2014 do. So we would expect the estimated amount, the actual amount for 2016 to be lower than what's estimated, only because it doesn't reflect auction results.
Thank you. I don't have any additional questions. I thank Mr. Franklin and the team and the administration for answering our questions.
Any further questions? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Franklin, and to the administration for the information provided. Next item on the agenda is new business. Mr. Clerk.
Referral 15-331,
Moved
acceptance
by
of grant.
Legislator Terp, seconded by Legislator Yolovich. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-332, authorize
Moved by
adjournment.
Legislator Yolovich, seconded by Legislator Rocco. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-333,
Moved by Legislator Rocco, seconded by Legislator Terp. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
referral 15-335,
Moved
authorize.
by Legislator Terp, seconded by Legislator Yolovich. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-336,
Moved by Legislator Yolovich, seconded by Legislator Rocco. Any discussion? Yes, Legislator Baroff.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, the referral has no information about where exactly these services would be needed. Am I correct to assume it's countywide in all county buildings, or is something different? And what sort of projects are we anticipating these services for?
Through the chair, that's correct. These services could be provided in any county facilities. Types of services include smaller projects that come up through the course of the year that aren't covered under a larger specific capital project with a selected firm. This gives us the ability to address those needs and those services. An example would be a minor structural assessment of a cracked beam in the jail, or a evaluation of a structural concern, let's say, in one of our buildings, which is pretty typical.
Thank you. And through the chair to administration, just so I'm clear, you stated that these are for minor services that aren't already covered by larger contracts for particular buildings. Is that correct, through the chair?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-337.
Moved by legislator Rocco, seconded by legislator Turp. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-338.
Moved by legislator Turp, seconded by legislator Yolovich. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-339.
Moved by legislator Yolovich, seconded by legislator Rocco. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-340.
Moved by legislator Rocco, seconded by legislator Turp. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-341.
Moved by legislator Turp, seconded by legislator Yolovich. Any discussion? Yes, legislator Broth.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, what sort of hazardous material abatement are we talking about? Would that be asbestos and asbestos only? $341, right? Yeah.
Referral 341, referring to general improvements at Ames Building. Is that correct, through the chair?
Yes.
That's correct.
General asbestos abatement would include evaluating the existing structure. It's going to be a top-down evaluation improvement to the building that was originally constructed in the early 90s. So odds are, asbestos was not widely used at the time, but there are still certain building materials such as insulation on pipe wrap, et cetera, that we'll make sure we take a hard look at before we do any replacements or upgrades.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-342.
Moved by legislator Yolovich, seconded by legislator Rocco. Any discussion? Yes, legislator Broth.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, on this referral, why are the special services so high? As a percentage of the overall cost, it's about 50%.
Through the chair, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. Why are the special services costs so high for this particular referral?
Through the chair, without referring to the scope specifically, the special services include some sub-consultant costs to take a look at the building, and in particular, this is floor 2 and 3 of the public safety building. There's going to be conversion of some of that space into inmate dormitory space, so there's a high security element to it, and I believe the special services reflect those. Special services to be provided by the sub-consultant. If you give me a moment, I can pull those up specifically for you.
Thank you.
Those services are being provided by the sub-consultant, Richie Green, who is a noted detention expert and a sub we've used on other projects, including the Children's Detention Center. So we've characterized the services by that sub to be special services. So in this preliminary phase of the project where they're heavily involved, you see that disproportionate amount of special service costs reflected.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-343.
Moved by legislator Rocco, seconded by legislator Turp. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-344.
Moved by
Authorize-
legislator Turp, seconded by legislator Yolovich. Any discussion? Yes, legislator Brown.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, the way I read this referral is that currently we don't have a redundant power distribution system for that jail addition. Is that correct?
Through the chair, that's correct.
So through the chair of the administration, is that something that we should have had when we initially designed the project in the early 2000s?
Through the chair, I wouldn't necessarily speculate on the design decisions made at that time, but it did come to our attention through routine facility evaluation that it is not equipped with redundant service, or what we might call a double-ended substation, and therefore it certainly is something that we strongly recommend.
Thank you. So through the chair of the administration, we currently do have at least one single point failure vulnerability there.
Yes, we do have emergency power available. That was the question through the chair.
Not exactly, but through the chair, that's acceptable. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-345.
Moved by
Authorize-
legislator Yolovich, seconded by legislator Rocco. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-346.
Moved by legislator Rocco, seconded by legislator Turp. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-391.
Moved by legislator Turp, seconded by legislator Yolovich. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-392.
Moved by legislator Yolovich, seconded by legislator Rocco. Any discussion? Legislator Baroff?
Through the chair of the administration, the referral references county properties under DEC regulation remediation. What county properties are currently undergoing DEC remediation?
Through the chair, Genesee Valley Park.
Through the chair of the administration, is that the only property?
Through the chair, yes, at this time.
Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-399.
Moved by legislator Rocco, seconded by legislator Turp. Any discussion? Yes, legislator Turp.
Through the chair, just have a couple questions. Will SmartWatt be guaranteeing us a minimum savings of the $88,070 per year to be paid each year?
Through the chair, they technically only guarantee the energy savings, and then the cost is based on a conservative estimated dollar per kilowatt.
So that can change each year through the chair?
Yes, through the chair, based on the value of electricity, it could.
Okay. Last question through the chair. How long are those savings going to be guaranteed?
They're guaranteed through a 15-year period.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Yes, legislator Morale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration. Why is this being submitted to us?
Through the chair, we're working with the consultant to prepare their detailed energy audit and proposal. And it was important to bring this before the ledge as an MOI to try to get approval by the December meeting, as we'd like to do the facility lighting before opening day of next year. That would include the concourse, the stadium proper, offices, concourse areas, parking areas, and then would also allow us then to move in immediately after the baseball season is concluded next year to do the playing field lighting.
Thank you. And through you, Mr. Chairman, how long is this overall project estimated to take?
Through the chair, approximately 3 months, split roughly in the middle, or excuse me, down the middle, about 6 weeks for the playing field lighting and 6 weeks for the balance of the facility.
Thank you. And through you, Mr. Chairman, who else responded to this RFP?
Through the chair, there was 3 other respondents by name: Right Light Energy Services, Johnson Controls, and then Smart Watt Energy.
Thank you. And through you, Mr. Chairman, is it possible that we could get a copy of that RFP? As well as, through you, Mr. Chairman, the responses.
Through the chair, we'd be happy to provide a copy of the RFP. It's my understanding that the actual responses, or proposals rather, by the vendors is proprietary.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, why is it that members of the legislature aren't allowed to look at that information?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we'd be more than willing to provide an opportunity for them to be inspected, and copies will be available upon request to take a look at, but providing the actual copies for distribution, similar to the way that we handled the score sheets on bids.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, so then our staff would be able to get a copy or make a copy of that, of the information that came in. Is that correct, through you, Mr. Chairman?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, no, you wouldn't be able to make a copy of it. We're not providing a copy, but you'd be able to come in and inspect those copies and review them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Is there any other matters to come before the committee? There being no other matters, the November 16, 2015 meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee will be announced.